What up, what up, what up, what up? Welcome back to More Sip2Tally. I'm over here doing this first live stream I've done over here in a long time. So this is something I plan on doing for the rest of the season, if I'm home, if I'm available to do it. But just to recap the top 5 games of the NFL for the week. Whether they involve the Baltimore Ravens or not doesn't matter right now, because we're just going to do the top 5 games of the week that some may have seen or heard about or didn't know about or whatnot. And I'm just going to drop a few gems. I took notes from each of these games, and I'm just going to be here to share them with you. Hopefully, you guys can, have an opinion on what's going on. I can see the chat going. So, and also trying to get the vibes up over here on More Sip2Tally. So I'll be doing more stuff over here as well, especially with the way somebody else looking right now, the way they looking. We're not going to speak on them. We're going to speak on them in about 2 hours with the roundup. So, this is, the first episode of our top 5 games of the week over here at More Sip2Tally. So let me get my notes situated. Got them all good and typed up and highlighted. Let's get ready to roll. So we're going to start with the 49ers and the Rams. This is 49ers and Rams is my number 5 game of the week. And this happened Thursday night. So the score was 26-23 in overtime. The 49ers won. The 49ers secured the win in overtime when the Rams running back Kyren Williams was stopped on 4th and 1 on the San Francisco 11-yard line. And minus on the 1-yard line. The 1-yard line. He fumbled. They did get the ball back. But he would have went on for a score, and he fumbled at the 1-yard line. San Francisco was missing multiple starters, including Brock Purdy, George Kittle, Nick Bosa, but still managed to pull off the victory. I don't know if y'all saw the tweet that I think Fred Warner put out. It was a 49er decal, but it had like maybe somebody in a wheelchair. And I think a bunch of said still got the dub, or still something like referencing that we got a lot of people hurt, but we still wouldn't got the dub. That's basically what the tweet was. Some key plays in that game. 49ers struck early, scoring on 2 of their first drives to build a lead. So they was up, if I'm not mistaken, 14-0 before the Rams even got on the board. But late in the fourth quarter, the San Francisco 49ers kicked a 59-yard field goal to take a 23-20 lead. On the ensuing drive, Kyren Williams fumbled on the 2-yard line. Wasn't the one, it was the 2-yard line. And the 49ers recovered, thwarting a potential go-ahead touchdown. So with that, when that happened, the Rams got the ball back. No, I'm sorry. Yeah, the Rams got the ball back because the 49ers was on the 2. So the Rams got it back because they had all 3 of their timeouts. So that's how they had all 3 of their timeouts. In overtime, and they went down and kicked the field goal to tie the game up. So that's how they got to overtime. The 49ers moved in position when Eddie Pinheiro converted a 41-yard field goal for the win. The Rams' final hope was on 4th and 1 when Williams was stopped by San Francisco defense. On that 4th and 1, when I tell you San Francisco went balls to the wall on that, I think it was 26 came up and hit somebody. One of the corners came up and hit somebody, and then I think 36 was the guy that cleaned Kyren Williams up. Because he was still trying to fight for some extra yards, but 36 came and cleaned them up, and it was clear that they didn't get that extra yard they needed. It was clear. But the top performers of that game, Mac Jones, filling in for Brock Purdy, 33 for 49, 342 yards. And at one point, Mac Jones went out of this game too. We didn't think Mac Jones was coming back. He had 2 touchdowns as well. Kendrick Bourne, career best game. 10 catches, 142 yards. Who would have thought? That? Matthew Stafford, 30 for 47. So somebody the Ravens will see next week. 389 yards and 3 touchdowns. Kyren Williams, even though he had the fumble, 131 scrimmage yards, 2 touchdown receptions, but his fumble late in the fourth made it easy for the game. Well, made it costly for them to go into overtime and not win the game. I got a few more. Hold on. Got to turn my paper over. Did a lot of typing today. All right, takeaways. Resilience despite the personnel losses. The 49ers didn't let all those people being hurt stop them. Wink, 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 wink. 49ers didn't let all the people being hurt stop them. They were depleting the injuries, but still executed well and played very good defense down the stretch. Big plays make the difference. The Rams racked up passing yards, made a strong comeback, but you can't win the game, turn the ball over. And that turnover in the fourth quarter, which allowed the game to even get to overtime, was real costly. But the last point, The decision to go for it on 4th and 1 when you could have just kicked the field goal and tied the game up and just extended the game even more, crazy. Because they was well in field goal range. But if you sometimes you gamble when you win big and you lose big. In this case, the Rams lost big. Hopefully, it puts them on a spiral and they do stupid stuff next week as well. Hopefully. Let's go to game number 2. Well, check this. Game number 4. It's game number 2 we're going to talk about, but it's game number 4 in my top 5. Patriots and Bills. Never thought this would have happened. Never thought this would have happened. Never thought the way the Bills had started, and because the Bills were number 1 on the power rankings. Matter of fact, I just gotta think about it. The top 2 teams in my power rankings lost. So we're gonna have an interesting shift when I do them later on today or tomorrow. The top 2 teams in my power rankings lost. The Bills and the Eagles. It's crazy. Crazy. But let's get into this Patriots and Bills game. Patriots won 23-20. With the loss, the Buffalo fell to 4-1. The Patriots improved to 3-2. More importantly, the Patriots stopped a 14-game home winning streak for the Bills at Highmark Stadium. And we all know that this is the last year in Highmark Stadium. So snap that win streak, and hopefully they don't win no more at home at all. The key plays in this game. The game remained tight throughout. There were no touchdowns in the first half, only field goals. Second half, both teams traded scores. With the game tied, the Patriots executed a drive that was set up by Andrew Borealis, the kicker from Miami, for a 52-yard field goal with 15 seconds left, which sealed the win for New England. Early in the game, they had some guys that get hurt. Antonio Gibson used to be with the Commanders, if I'm not mistaken. So for the right knee injury early on a kickoff in the second quarter, but they did Trayvon Stevenson got that fumble back. Henderson, not Stevenson, got that fumble back, so they didn't lose it. But Antonio Gibson was hurt, and I don't know how long he's going to be out. Stat lines and notable performances of this game. Drake May, second year, improving a lot. Last year was kind of a blur for Drake May. I don't really know what they had going on because they hired a coach. Well, I think what they really didn't want to keep anyway. They had Vrabel in mind already, and they just hired a coach to pass time and see what happened. But Vrabel seems to have them on the right path. But Drake May, 20 of 30, 273 yards, extremely efficient. Stephon Diggs went the you-know-what off. 10 catches, 146 yards. Somebody said, I saw it on Twitter before I left work, that if Stephon Diggs was Cardi B, then the Bills was Nicki Minaj. No, that was Ryan Clark. They said Ryan Clark said that. They said Ryan Clark said that on TV today. If Stephon Diggs is Cardi B, then the Bills must have been Nicki Minaj. Ryan Clark, you paid it for that one. You paid it for that one. Also, Ramondre Stevenson for the Patriots, he scored 2 touchdowns. Josh Allen for the Bills, 22 of 31, 253 yards, 2 turnovers, a couple of interceptions as well. He also had 53 yards rushing. Dalton Kincaid, who before the Ravens played the Bills, Bills fans came into my I don't know if I was doing a live or what, but I asked him who was their best receiver to see what he was going to say. I figured he would have said Coleman or something like that, but he actually said Kincaid, and I was like, okay, I respect you know ball. Kincaid had 6 catches for 108 yards for the Bills. Late game execution for the Patriots, they came through. Tied at 20-20. Stephon Diggs came through for his young quarterback, made play after play after play after play. Turnovers by the Bills really cost them. I know that interception late really hurt. Diggs said it was an emotional game. You know, Diggs used to play for the Bills. There's that one picture where they got like Diggs like looking at Josh out the side of his eye, but he said nothing like that. So they embrace after the game and whatnot, and you know they say it's all good, but it's just competitive banter. And then to top it off, that home field streak is over for Buffalo. 14-game win streak at home, over with. So hopefully they don't win no more there and they go into their new stadium on a losing streak. All right, let's go to game number 3 in my list. And this happened last night. Now, I will say I didn't see the second half until today because I was knocked out. But didn't think this game would be close either, honestly. I thought the Chiefs were to the point where they were getting their groove back. And I know Jacksonville record was 3-1, but they have that signature win now, and they also have my attention. But Jacksonville beat Kansas City 31-28. Jacksonville ended a long drought versus Kansas City, recording their first win over the Chiefs since 2009. That's what, 16 years? Ooh, that's a long time. There's a school here in town that I used to work at. They've beaten their rival every year since 1999. So they play each other each year, and they are a huge rival. Well, I guess you can't even call it a rival no more, because rival will, when one team win, the other one, they go back and forth. They haven't beaten that school since 1999, 26 years, which is crazy. Crazy. But Kansas City dropped to 2-3. Jacksonville improved to 4-1. Big plays in this game. None other than the pick six. Kansas City about to go in and score. Pat Mahomes throws the ball. Who picks it up? Devin Lloyd, the linebacker. I think he's number 0. 99 yards. Kind of reminded me of James Harrison's return in the Super Bowl. 99-yard interception return by Devin Lloyd off Pat Mahomes. That swung the momentum, gave them a 21-14 lead. So technically, that's a 14-point swing, because they were finna go in and score and go up 21-14. But after that play, they ended up being down 21-14. The Chiefs did try to get back, though. The Chiefs did try to get back. Chiefs answered with 2 fourth-quarter touchdowns by Kareem Hunt, including one from the 2-yard line to grab the 24-28 lead late. Then the game-winning scramble, that play by Sunshine, and y'all know who Sunshine is. Remember the Titans quarterback Sunshine? That was crazy. So if you haven't seen it, and I'm sure everybody have seen it, Trevor Lawrence gets stepped on by Patrick McCarry. But they have enough blocking up front where he gets up. Well, he tries to get up the first time, stumbles over himself again, gets up the second time. When he gets up the second time, the blocking kind of breaks down. He steps out of a tackle and then dives in the end zone. Crazy play for a quarterback to do. Now, Trevor Lawrence had a bunch of rushing yards this game that I noticed before I fell asleep. And then when I finished watching it this morning, if it wasn't there, Trevor got up out of there. Trevor wasn't standing back there waiting on plays to develop. He was getting up out of there. 1 wasn't there, 2 wasn't there. Deuces. I'm out. And that's Trevor Lawrence. All right. Let's see what we got. Oh, a pass interference on that drive as well that helped them. And it was a questionable pass interference, but it was pass interference. And then Kansas City's final possession fell short. They couldn't get in the field goal range. I think the last play, Patman just threw it up for like 70 yards, but it was batted down. The best performances for this game, Trevor Lawrence, 18 of 25, extremely efficient for him. Only 25 passes, extremely efficient. 221 yards, a touchdown, interception. He also rushed for 54 yards and 2 touchdowns, which is some of the stuff I was talking about. Trevor Lawrence don't run a lot, but last night he ran a lot when stuff was breaking down, or it just was happening too fast for him, because you know Spags will get after you. So Spags threw a lot of blitzes on him. If 1 and 2 wasn't there, Trevor cut up out of there. Buck says such an unathletic. That's exactly, Buck. Exactly. That was a unathletic play. Extremely right, because he fumbled. He got stepped on first, failed. Tried to get up, couldn't get up. Then when he finally got up, broke a tackle, not like ran over nobody, but shook out of a tackle, stepped out of a tackle, then went and dove and foot to the end zone. But Pat threw for 318 with 1 touchdown, 1 interception. He also had 60 yards rushing. Pat's been running a lot more because their run game hadn't done a lot. I will say this, when watching that game, Pacheco still runs hard. It was like people was trying to tackle Pacheco from the side because they didn't want to go head up with him. And I noticed that when I was watching the game and when I finished watching it this morning. Devin Lloyd's 99-yard interception return was a key play. And then Kareem Hunt had 2 touchdowns for Kansas City in the back. Takeaways from the game, back and forth battle. The game featured multiple lead changes, big defensive plays, and the offensive resilience from both teams. Trevor Lawrence, I love the fact that, hey, I ain't got to sit here and wait on this stuff to pop off. If it ain't popping off, I'm going to get up out of here. So he's playing a lot better. His head coach worked wonders with Baker Mayfield. Now he's trying to turn Trevor Lawrence around. And Trevor Lawrence, in my opinion, has a better skill set than Baker. And the way Baker has played under Cohen and now, if he can mold Trevor into what Baker has become, you can look out, because Trevor has a bigger skill set, to me, and a better skill set than Baker Mayfield. But that's what it is. So let's get to game number 2. Game number 2 of the week. Philadelphia Eagles, Denver Broncos. Again, another game that I would not have thought would have went this way. Another game. The final score was 21-17. The Broncos didn't really score till late. This game was 17-3, I think, or 17 to no. 17 to 7 or 17-0 or 17-14 for a long 17-0 or 14-0 for a long time. Because I remember peeping on this game and like, well, the Broncos just can't score. And then all of a sudden they get points out of nowhere. But here's the recap. Broncos erased a 14-point deficit. That's what I'm talking about. In the fourth quarter to get their first lead. I think they took the lead at 17-18. And then they got 3 points later on to make it 21-17. So their first lead of the game was 17-18. And the way they got 18 is crazy. I'm going to get to it, though. Philadelphia dropped to 4-1. The Broncos are up to 3-2. The Eagles came out strong, building a 17-3 lead in the first 3 quarters. That's what it was, 17-3 in the first 3 quarters. Jalen Hurts threw for 280 yards with 2 touchdowns to Dallas Goedert, and then another one to Saquon Barkley. Is he ever going to throw a touchdown to Levonte and AJ? I know AJ over there filming. Our boy J.K. Dobbins had a 2-yard rushing touchdown to make it 17-10. And then Bo Nix hit Evan Ingram for an 11-yard touchdown to make it 16-17 Eagles. How much time was left? Let me see if I got it. I don't have the time, but early in the middle of the fourth quarter, they went for 2 and got it on a pass to Tony Franklin in the end zone. So now they're up 18-17, putting a little bit more pressure on the Eagles. And I think it was a good call because there was so much time left in the game that you had a possibility to get the ball back. But actually getting it changes the whole entire play calling situation for Philadelphia because now you're down instead of being tied. Let me see what I got. Denver's final drive sealed it. A penalty extended the drive. Will Lutz booted a 36-yard field goal with 1:14 remaining, and that put them up 21-17. And on the Eagles' last chance, a Hail Mary from Jalen Hurts was knocked down. And on that Hail Mary, it was funny because when they piled off each other, the 2 guys laying on top of each other was Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown. And I think A.J. got his hands on it, but just couldn't come down with it. Couldn't come down with it at all. The big performances for that game, Bo Nix had a big fourth quarter. In the fourth quarter alone, 9 of 10, 126 yards, and a go-ahead touchdown to Evan Ingram. J.K. Dobbins had another good game for him, ran for 79 yards and scored a touchdown. He had 100 yards last week. First Bronco to get 100 yards in a while. I don't know the exact time. Jalen Hurts, this is probably Jalen's biggest passing game of the season. I have to go back and check, but he had 280 yards, 2 touchdowns because Jalen don't really throw the ball that much. He really just give it to Saquon and go chill. Saquon caught a 47-yard touchdown to go along with his normal rushing attack. And then Devontae Smith had 8 catches for over 100 yards. And then my notes faded. So I can't give you the themes and takeaways. My notes faded on me. All right, let's go to our number 1 game. Make sure I got my notes on the back of that. The number 1 game of the week. Should be everybody's number 1 game of the week. Seattle Seahawks and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Buccaneers won this game 38-35. The win improved Tampa Bay to 4-1. Seattle fell to 3-2 with the loss. I'm going to say this, and some people have probably already said it, but I don't watch the 4-letter networks, but I know how they be hyping people up. Baker might be an MVP candidate right now. First half of the season, Baker might be an MVP candidate right now. That son gun is cutting up. But the key plays in this game. The game featured an offensive shootout. They combined for 889 yards of total offense. 889 yards total offense. When I tell you this is my kind of game, I don't give a rat's butt about defense. Let's go up and down the field and score points. That's what I love. Get defense, get me a stop in the fourth quarter. But other than that, let me see offensive shootouts all day long. That's great TV. With about 1 minute and 8 seconds remaining in regulation, Baker Mayfield hit Sterling Shepard for an 11-yard touchdown to tie the game. On Seattle's next possession, Sam Darnold threw a pass that deflected off Logan's Hall helmet, and Levonte David intercepted it with 58 seconds left that set up the final field goal. Chase McLaughlin converted a 39-yard field goal as time expired to give Tampa Bay the win. Early in the game, they both traded touchdowns. Seattle got the lead late in the fourth quarter after Sam Darnold hit Tony Horton for a 21-yard touchdown, and on a 4th and 2 with about 3:18 left. Then Tampa Bay responded quick to tie it, and then benefited from that interception I spoke on a minute ago. The key players in this game, Baker Mayfield, 29 of 33, 4 incompletions, 379 yards and 2 touchdowns. Egbuka, right now, tell me, if y'all got a different person, front runner for player of the year. I'm sorry, rookie of the year. Front runner for rookie of the year right now. 7 catches, 163 yards and touchdown. 7 catches, 163 yards and touchdown. And they did this. They didn't have no Mike Evans this game. Rachaad White scored 2 touchdowns. Sam Darnold, 24 for 38 passing, 341 yards and 4 touchdowns. So between Baker Mayfield and Sam Darnold, you had 6 and 4. You had 10 incompletions. 11. One of them was an interception. 10 incompletions. And an interception. That's crazy. Balling, both of them. Jackson Smith and Jigba, 8 for 132 with a touchdown. A.J. Burner for the Seahawks contributed with 2 touchdowns. I would really hope they would get Elijah Arroyo involved. He's extremely athletic and can be a matchup nightmare for some guys up there in Seattle. But finishing this thing out, Egbuka was a rookie with a major storyline, especially with the injuries to Tampa Bay receiving corps, like no Mike Evans, and Egbuka come in and play like that. Baker's just doing the thing. But again, 800, almost 900 yards of offense. So you'll see why this is my number 1 game of the week. So I appreciate y'all for coming through, kicking it with me for a minute. This is something I'm going to try to do every week, pick my top 5 games of the week and recap them fairly well. So if you like the video, I appreciate all you guys that watched it live. For everybody on the replay or whatever, tap that like button, subscribe if you've not done so, and I'll see y'all soon, man. I appreciate y'all for coming to mess with me for about 21 minutes. It's a good time. So I'm going to try to wrap it up and get it to where to be around 20-minute wrap up. So on that note, peace and love, y'all. Appreciate you. See you soon.